Silver is still bought and sold in troy ounces, which is slightly different from imperial. So, this is actually quite interesting when you actually look at what promissory notes are. Basically, they're just a promise to pay. Now, the great thing is, of course, the great thing is that when you go to a bank and you get an application for a loan, okay, you think that that's a contract with the bank and they're going to lend you money, don't you? Would you? But the bank don't look at it like that. They see that as a promissory note. Now, I know Si knows this very much because he's like bang on it. But because what you're doing, I'm actually saying that I'm saying the banks create the money, but that is not actually true. Because one stage further, it's our signature which creates the money. And what the bank is doing is swapping their promissory notes for our promissory notes. But our promissory notes, in effect, have more value because we are flesh and blood and they are fictitious entities. But what they do, they give us theirs and they want us to go out and work to actually provide more promissory notes. Now, if they're going to say, well, look, if you say, well, look, how do you want paying back? We say, right, we want it in cash. Well, do you accept promissory notes? Yes, if they're legal tender. Well, okay, so I'll pay you in cash. So you give them a promissory note, and they say, no, that's a promissory note. But if you go to Lord Denning, he actually says that a promissory note, I'm sure some of you know this, a promissory note is to be treated as cash. Now, what we've done is actually put a couple of promissory notes up on the... is that in focus, is it? Yeah. Yeah, it's all not too bad. I don't know if you can see that. Lovely background, somebody did a bit of artwork. We've got we've got the Flower of Life on two different sides, with the Tree of Life on the other side, and Metatron's cube in the middle. And a beautiful bit of sacred geometry in there. And how perfect for a promissory note. And so, now the great thing, you can download these on the website, get out and get free, and banks legally have to take them. Now, we actually had a bank manager. I haven't actually got my computer actually set up to the PA today. So you're a counterfeiter? No, this is a real promissory note. This is my promissory note. It's not, might not be legal tender. However, it is to be treated as cash. And we know they are to be treated, because under the Bills of Exchange Act, now what happens, people say, oh, I sent them a promissory note, and they wouldn't accept it. Well, if they don't accept it, that means the bill's paid. If somebody comes to me and says, you owe us a tenner, I say, okay, here's that. I say, oh, I don't want that one. What's wrong with it? Oh, somebody's written get out of debt free on it. I don't want that one. I say, well, look, I'll offer you a tenner. If you don't take it, it's your tough luck. And that's basically what the Bills of Exchange Act 1882 says. If they don't accept a promissory note, basically, or if they accept it and don't give it back to you, because the wonderful thing is if I give one of you a promissory note for £10, you can say, well, £10 of what? Well, £10 of lentils, you might come back to me and you could actually pursue me through the court for £10 of lentils. And I'd have to go off to bloody Tesco's and buy a load of lentils, wouldn't I?
What do you think, Mark?
So,
not Tesco.
Say again, sorry?
Not Tesco.
Not Tesco's. Anyway, no, go to a health food shop if I'm going to buy lentils. Seriously. But this is the whole thing, is that if I gave you a promissory note, unless it was for lentils or eggs or something of value, it's not going to be any use. Just me saying, pounds, I'm going to give you £10 sterling, because unless I actually gave you £10 of sterling silver, that's the only way it could be paid. So, but corporations, you see, in their articles of memorandum, that's the documents that they use to set the company up, they have to accept promissory notes. It says it. You can actually look up at these corporations and read their memorandum of association, and it says that they have to accept promissory notes. And the bank can actually send your promissory note to the Bank of England and get digital currency for it. And when the bank says we don't accept promissory notes, we say, well, what are you doing with my loan application? Because that is they're treating that as a promissory note and giving you digital currency for it. So can you see? It's crazy. And we have had now, I'm not saying like all your debt problems are over, just get a promissory note, send them off and they will accept them. But we did actually ask a bank manager. We found a bank manager, and as I say, I can't play the video, but I just had the audio of it transcribed. But we actually said to him, what would, do you have to accept promissory notes? And he said, of course we do. I said, what? He said, of course we do. I said, what, under the Bills of Exchange Act? He said, yes. So the other guy goes, so, if I walk into your bank and give the cashier a promissory note, you're going to take it. He said, no. But you legally have to. He goes, yeah. But he said, but you can't use the bus with stamps, can you? You can't pay your bus fare with stamps. He said, we're not going to take it. But he said, he actually realised, he understood, this guy, he wasn't your normal bank manager. He'd actually done a degree in economics, but then he'd unlearned that and actually looked into, he was actually a little bit upset by the whole banking system because he actually joined, I can't say the name of the bank he works for because that was one of the deals that we actually altered his voice so nobody would recognise it and actually not say which, because it was a big city branch that he actually ran. But he actually said that they have to accept promissory notes. And if you're going to try it out, have a laugh with them. I'll leave that one. And this was something was posted on the website, and this is just proof that somebody, a few people have had success. And there's it's not very clear, but you can see there your gas statement explained, and total from the last statement, you owed us £3,049.62. Payments, none. Account adjustments, £3,049.62. Credit, new total, 0. And that's right, that was somebody sending it. So they wouldn't put it down as payment, but they made an account adjustment. And a friend of ours has, a chap that Ray knows as well, has actually been A for Ving a very, very large utility bill. A for Ving is basically using a bank gyro like a cheque and sending it back saying accepted for value and using it like a cheque because effectively you're drawing on effectively your own, you're using it as a promissory note or drawing on your own funds effectively. So yeah, all good fun. And has everyone, do I need to tell anyone about Get Out of Debt Free? Is anyone not aware of the website? No, so everyone's aware of the website, you realise that, so I don't have to tell you that. Just in case that some of you weren't aware, this was back in 2009, and this was just a funny story that 2009 seems like years ago now, but this was when the website was only, I think, 2 years old. And it was just beginning to sort of get a little bit of, a few hits. And I think if you put in Get Out of Debt, we were on about page 3 or 4 of Google. But the debt collectors are getting a little bit pissed off with all these letters that were coming from the website. So what they did, they met up in a nice hotel and, where they're all like, all had their suits on and did a nice PowerPoint presentation. It wasn't in a nightclub like this. It was obviously in a posh hotel. And they said, right, there are 5 websites that we would like to see removed from the internet. And because they had friends in high places, they presumed that this would just happen. So what they did, they listed all these websites. And it goes off the thing, it was Consumer Action Group, Blagger, Penalty Charge Forum, Legal Beagles, that's right, Legal Beagles, and getoutofdebtfree.org. And the wonderful thing was that a Guardian journalist was actually at this location and actually wrote it up, put it in the Guardian newspaper and put it on the Guardian website. put it on the Guardian website with hyperlinks from the Guardian straight through to the website. So our website goes from number 4 to page 1. And within a few weeks of that, it's on, it's actually number 1 on Google for get out of debt, debt letters, and a number of other search terms. And what was wonderful is actually it overtook the government's own debt website. So yeah, I'm just going to thank everyone here that goes on the website and uses it, because it was bizarre. It wasn't like I set out to actually create a website that was going to be successful. It was just that I realised that when I was looking for template letters to challenge the banks, there weren't any. Now, and I've read about Mary Elizabeth Croft and how she challenged the banks, and I presumed that there were going to be letters in circulation. But I Googled it and there was nothing. Now, there's loads of information on getting out of debt. I mean, there's loads of websites, but it just shows how the consciousness is shifting. It shows how people are saying, no, where did the money come from? Well, why do we have to pay it back? It can't be paid back with interest. That's impossible. So, you know, it's wonderful. Sorry, my voice is going. Need more beer. Oh, that's better. Okay, so that's enough about the website and debt, promissory notes and things. What I'm going to do is just finish up by just having a quick look at what's happening in the news, because I feel things are hotting up. I really do. I think things are getting very, very exciting. I think what's happening in Cyprus has been the last, the first ditch attempts, but basically you realise that they're just going to keep turning the screw,